right, good morning, everyone. Welcome to today's video. It's Sunday morning, so we look back at Saturday night. Why am I wearing a Dashers shirt? Well, we'll talk about that in just a little bit. Okay, so 6 games on the docket last night. Of course, Monroe and Biloxi had played their 2 games Thursday and Friday, so they were taking yesterday off. So, and that played into one of the storylines from last night, but again, we'll get there. All right, I'm going to kind of skip around a little bit because I wasn't sure if I was going to have an opportunity to tune into this game or not, and I did. So we're actually going to start down here because this was the first game of the evening, chronologically, and the Prowlers, they end up earning their split with the Danbury Hat-Tricks. A 3-1 count. For a brief time, it looked like this could be a high-scoring affair, and all the scoring was compacted into a very small segment of time. Within 2 minutes and 13 seconds, we had 3 goals. It was 2-1, and that was it for a while. Turned into a great defensive match, and yeah, but the Prowlers end up coming up on top. We had goals by Bobby Price and also by Vinny DeCumbus. Both of those with the Prowlers were on 2-on-1 breaks. And then Rubtsov, he scores in between. Rubtsov scored at 9:06, and then 9:39 DeCumbus scored. So it was a great response, and that was really the key to the game. From there on out, it just became this this defensive slugfest. Not a slugfest in the literal sense, but there were a couple little scraps, but nothing major. We had our face-off fight between Robinson and Bussell right at the beginning of the game, but then pretty much everything else just was your standard defensive game. So late in the game, Kyle Penton, who has played really well since becoming the #1 guy in Danbury, he gets pulled for the extra attacker. Running out of time, you're down 2-1, got to generate something. And Reggie Millette just came off the IR before this weekend. He gets the empty netter, and there you go. Reed Cooper stops 36 of 37. Penton, 22 saves and 24 opportunities. Yeah, he 4 goals all night or all weekend, so that's not bad. But yeah, so the Hat-Tricks fall to 12, 17, and 3, but they did not lose any ground in the standings. Prowlers 19, 12, and 0, and they get a little bit of breathing room, which we'll mention that a little bit later. Okay, so let's jump back up here, and I've got to switch pages on my notes. Yeah, I ended up shuffling all these magnets around because of when the games ended up finishing. All right, so Binghamton, a 2-1 win in Watertown. Another defensive struggle. Shots were kept pretty low. 32 shots on goal for Binghamton. That's a pretty low total for them. And the Watertown Wolves did a great job on getting things clogged up in the middle, in both the neutral zone and in the defensive zone, limiting Binghamton's chances. Obviously, they looked at things from the previous night where Binghamton won 8-0 and said, we got to change what we're doing. Let's focus on these basics. And they did a great job. It's very unfortunate that the Wolves ended up losing this game because I'll get into that. First of all, just to mention, Stubbs scores on the power play at 8:25 of the first period. It's 1-0 at the end of 1. Shots were 15-4 in favor of Binghamton, so everybody's thinking, okay, this is just a carryover from last night. No, in the second period, Watertown made some great adjustments, held Binghamton to 8 shots on goal while generating 16 themselves, and they score. Hunter Hall scores at 7:01. Now, I hated to see this. If you just look at the stat sheet, you say, oh, Dan Stone scores in the power play, 17-18. It's a 2-1 lead by Binghamton. Okay, the problem is the reason why Binghamton was on a power play was for no reason at all. I just don't get this. Absolutely phantom call on Cherniak. He's called for a delay of game. There was no delay of game. The only delay of game that happened was everybody goes to a media timeout, and during the media timeout, the referees all confer that, yeah, there was a penalty there. Where? There was no penalty. As a matter of fact, technically, if you want to be really technical about it, there were 3 phantom calls that were made last night. Minor penalties assessed where there was no infraction. I don't get it. I just don't get it. Now, did the referees decide this game? No, because, and I've mentioned this before in comments, talking with people in texts, it's still on the onus for the teams to execute their game plan. Okay. The power play goal by Stone occurred 1 minute and 59 seconds into the penalty. So the Wolves were this close to killing it off, and they had done a great job. Stone gets the puck through and just off to Colgan's glove hand. But you still hate to see it because should Binghamton have been on the power play? No. Again, a phantom call, and I can't say that the goal was a direct result because a minute 59 had passed. Watertown had successfully killed off almost all of that penalty. So some are still going to argue with me and say, yeah, the referees decided that game. Well, not really, but nonetheless. So that's how the game ended, really. The rest of the game, great chances by both teams. Nobody could score. Both Brennan Colgan and Dominic Tomei were great. And their stats prove it out. And there you go, a 2-1 win by Binghamton. 29-3-0 is their record. Watertown falls to 11-17-3. They could not get 3 points to jump back over Danbury. So they still sit in 6th place. But again, it wasn't like a huge egregious thing, but it's just kind of like the referees, what are you looking at? I don't get it. There was a slashing call where there was no slash earlier. There was another roughing call where there was no physical contact at all. It's just weird. So anyway, we move on to the other really low-scoring game last night, and that was a 1-0 shutout by the Columbus River Dragons in Indiana. Both teams played great defensively, and the only bad thing about a game like this is, well, it may be a couple of bad things. One is a lot of fans, you come to see the goals. Well, there weren't many goals last night, were there? It was a 1-0 game, but it was a very, very good game. The quality of this game was very high. Got to give kudos to both coaches, to Coach Boom Boom and to Coach ET. Both had great game plans for their teams. The teams followed those game plans. And you just had one of those odd nights where hardly anybody scores. Ryan Galvin gets the only goal of the game at the 14:09 mark of the second period. Penalties were really low. There was only, 12 minutes in penalties in this game. So it was a very clean game. And yeah, somebody made a comment, and I just want to mention this. It was Dana Barker from Columbus made an excellent point. 3 stars of the game are announced, and Tyler Roy didn't get a star. Werber got 3rd star, and he said, "Yeah, Werber deserves 3rd star. 29 out of 30 saves. That's great. Give him the 3rd star." But why wasn't Roy given a 2nd or a 3rd star, 1st star? Weird. Again, the stars in the FPHL are kind of like the points in Whose Line Is It Anyway? They don't matter. But nonetheless, it's still like a feather in your cap. And Roy had a fantastic weekend after 3 weeks of struggling mightily, not having good outings. This weekend, he stopped all but 2 pucks. So everything else that came his way, he stopped. He had a fantastic weekend. And yeah, he deserves recognition for that. So yeah, 32 for 32 for Tyler Roy. John Werber, again, you hate to see somebody have to take the loss. Werber played great. Just needed 1 more save. And there you go. So now Indiana has lost 6 straight, but this was a competitive game, and again, a very high quality game. You can't say, well, Indiana didn't play well, because that's not true. They played very well. Both teams. This was an excellent game to watch if you don't mind defensive games, which I don't. It was a very entertaining game and a great crowd too. 869. Remember, Indiana, the arena only seats 1,000, so the place was pretty full up, and that was good to see. So anyway, Columbus now 17, 11, and 3. Indiana 6, 19, and 4. All right, now the reason why I'm wearing my Dashers jersey is because we had the return of Parker Rutherford. And if you don't know, maybe you just started following the FPHL this year. Rutherford, who took the net for the PeeDee IceCats, he was the backbone for the Dashers last year. The team that unfortunately folded. Team struggled mightily. Only won 3 games all year, 12 points, but they were a very close-knit group, and Parker Rutherford was the backbone of this team. Kind of one of these heart and soul guys. So it was great to see him back. He started off this year in Indiana when everything wasn't going very well up there. He gets signed by PeeDee and has a fantastic, can't say debut, a fantastic return. He had been playing in the APHL, so he was in game shape. He was, he was performing very well in the APHL, which is semi-pro. And yeah, 5-1 win by PeeDee. So in this game, Alexander Lakov starts off the scoring just 46 seconds in. Excellent play. I think it kind of took William Lavalier by surprise. It's 1-0, becomes 2-0 as you had a rare goal by Jordan Popoff. I believe I'd have, without looking at his stats, I think that's only his 3rd or 4th career Fed goal. He's been around for like 3 or 4 seasons. So Popoff gets on the board, and the place erupted. First of all, I got to mention, fantastic crowd. 78-37, standing room only, sellout. This is the 2nd largest crowd all time in the FPHL. Yeah, 2nd largest. And obviously largest last night, largest in PeeDee history. It was great to see that barn packed. There was a sellout 2 years ago in Columbus, and for some reason, my brain retained this number. Columbus had 7,740 in attendance. So this exceeded that from 2 years ago. Yeah, fantastic. Okay, so back to the game. We had 2-0 at the end of one period. Shots are 18-11, so PeeDee was cycling well. They were generating offense. They were passing well. Really taking it to Athens. Athens does get on the board, 5:57 to the second. Carter Shinkarik scores unassisted, a 4-on-4 situation. And from there on out, it was all Prowlers. You had Patrick Marcinkiewicz scoring on the power play in 1923. That made it 3-1. Shots through 2 were 30-21 in favor of PeeDee. Athens didn't look bad. They just looked out of sync. And PeeDee took advantage of it. In third period, you had a power play goal by Trevor Lord at the 8:17 mark, and then Dominic Marcinkiewicz, who had a goal and 3 assists on the night. He closes out the scoring with about 4.5 minutes left, excuse me. And yeah, it is a 5-1 win by PeeDee. They earn a split on the weekend, but more than that, I think they earned a psychological victory too. This has become a very heated rivalry. Athens has won all but one of the previous matchups, and PeeDee was able to be the dominant team last night. They really were. It was quite a night for PeeDee fans. I'm sure there was a lot of celebrating last night. So Athens, they do not get to jump over the Monroe Moccasins. Athens is 2 points behind Monroe for that really close race for the top of the Continental Division. And PeeDee, well, they win, but they can't crawl up in the standings because of the next game. It's just been a strange year where, it's almost a month now. Every time PeeDee wins, Twin City wins. Every time PeeDee loses, Twin City loses. Those guys have been tied in points for a month now. Really kind of strange. But yeah, to segue into that, Twin City does come out with a 5-3 win over the Bobcats. They were able to kind of slow down the offensive flow of the Bobcats. Bobcats still generated 43 shots on goal, but that was better than 62 the night before. The Thunderbirds kind of tightened things up defensively, and pretty good game. So Dustin Gisso actually it didn't look good at the very beginning for Twin City. Dustin Gisso scores on a 3-on-1 break. Yeah, 3-on-1, not good. That's a 6:58 of the first period. And Zach Ross adds a goal 35 seconds later. It's 2-0. The Bobcats are up. And packed crowd. This is the largest crowd in the history of the Bobcats, largest home crowd. 2888. That arena seats 3650, so it was mostly full. And that was good to see. A lot of fans traveled up from Carolina, as usually does happen. These two teams are only 90 miles apart. But nonetheless, it was great seeing that crowd. And it was for a good cause as well. Both teams wearing purple and white for St. Jude Day. All the proceeds from jersey auctions went to St. Jude's. I believe a proceed of the ticket sales also went to St. Jude's. So, yeah, excellent cause. And it's great. These two teams, this is the second year in a row that they've done this. And it's great to see them kind of conjointly saying, yes, we're on board. Let's, get together. And even though we're competing against each other, we're still supporting a great charity. So Yeah, 5-3. Okay, so it was 2-0. As I said, the shots were 18-14 in favor of the Bobcats in the first period. But I left out one important detail: 3 unanswered goals by the Thundercats. The Thundercats, my goodness, the Thunderbirds. Excuse me. That was a weird cartoon from the 80s. Anyway, yeah. Yeah, some of you some of you got the Thundercats chant and going in your mind now. Anyway, so yeah, we had a power play goal by Jan Slak, who had just come off IR last night or yesterday during ahead of the game, so he gets on the board. Yeah, that great return for him. And then you had Dan Demke scoring his first Fed goal. Yeah, that was awesome to see. And then Gus Ford scores at 18:54. So yeah, within a 7-minute 58-second period of time, 3 goals by the Thunderbirds, and no scoring in the second. Shots were 16-13 in favor of the Bobcats. We get to the third, and Thundercats. Why am I saying that? I need more sleep. Thunderbirds scored once again, and this time it is Jacob Schnapp. 6:32. Justin Gisso counters with about 6 minutes left. That's his second of the night. It becomes a 4-3 game, but then Gus Ford scores in the power play at 14:33 to seal the deal. And even though that was 14:33, a lot of fans got up and at that point and headed out the door, which was kind of strange. There was still 5 minutes to go, but anyway, Thundercats. That time I said it on purpose. Win. The Thunderbirds. Okay, we have birds and cats. The Thunderbirds win. It's 12-16-1 for them. Again, they're still tied with PeeDee. And the Bobcats, Bobbirds, I don't know, 14-16-1. They are still kind of entrenched in 4th place in the Empire. Okay, final game of the night. I did not watch this except for just to spot check a couple things. But, 58 minutes I did not see. So we just do a brief recap. But yeah, the Zydeco win. And I had a feeling, if you remember from picks and previews, I said that the Topeka, I picked Topeka to win 2 out of the 3. Well, tonight was the night for the Zydeco to win, apparently. And 4-1. Shots pretty close there, 29-22. Ed Coffey has a great night, stops everything but one. Brizgalov, he's had a rough couple of outings. This wasn't as bad as his previous outing, but yeah, it was still some things. I guess I don't know. You hit little bumps in the road from time to time. Still a good game, though. Good crowd, 38-99. But yeah, we had the game-winning goal scored by Jake Cox at 2:47 of the second period. That at that point, that made it 2-1 because the teams traded goals off in the first period. Blake Keller and Scotty Koash. But then Cox got that all-important second goal. Garwood added a power play goal later in the second. And then Nick Catola, he scores the game winner. Catola had a great weekend. Well, it's not even over. They're playing this afternoon. So let's see what Catola can do tonight, or this afternoon, rather. Shots on goal total 29-22. Only 5-3 in the third period. It just became a real sluggish type of thing. But sometimes games are like that. Jacob Gagnon was given a match penalty in the second period for a slew foot. No, I did not see it, but I can tell you he is going to be suspended because this game was officiated by Paul Jean. Okay, Paul Jean is the head of officiating. So there you go. Probably a game or 2. I wouldn't think it'd be more than 2 because Gagnon doesn't really have anything on his record. But anyway, so if you see either Monday or Tuesday in the transactions, he's suspended. That's why. Okay, so that completes everything from last night. Just looking ahead, that we do have the Zydeco and Topeka playing 5:05 Eastern, 4:05 Central. That completes the 3-on-3 or 3-and-3, and so I'll write something up on the old WordPress there and give you an article for that. We have Stars and Standings, which we will put out tomorrow. We'll see who gets on the list this week, and we'll also look at the standings because there were a lot of changes and there were a lot of things that didn't change but got very close. For example, Topeka, they missed a chance to leapfrog into second place. Prowlers win. There's now a 5-point difference between the two teams. So even if Topeka wins today, it'll still be the Prowlers in second place, but only 2-point difference. You have the whole race in the Continental Division between Monroe and Athens. You have the race between Watertown and Danbury and the Bobcats, which is very interesting. So a lot of things to look at. So check out Stars and Standings tomorrow, and then news and notes on Wednesday. We could have a very big, significant trade to talk about. It is something that is, from what I am being told, in the works. So we might have an announcement about that. And if it does come out, if the news does come out, this trade has happened, we'll talk about it. Talk about the branding that came out for the Minnesota Northern Lights. Very interesting. And a lot of other things as well. So don't miss that. All right. I have rambled on for long enough, so I'm going to let you go. Thank you so much for watching, though. I do appreciate it. Make sure to hit like and subscribe, share, tell a friend. Of course, follow me on Facebook, because everything as news happens, like maybe this trade, gets printed there, and then we talk about it here on YouTube. All right, I'm Gary Ryan for the Fed League Flash. You all have a wonderful week ahead. I know Monday's tomorrow. Make the most of it. We'll get through the week together. I'm Gary Ryan.